I've got some earphones, it's got a microphone attached, so hopefully you can hear me and the microphone isn't playing up like it did before. Walk and Talk 45. The Israel-Iran war. Before we start, I just want to have a good look at the old sky. It's a beautiful day today. Bruce and I have come down here to have a bath. We've had no running water. Whole community's had no running water for the last week, and we might have another 2 weeks of no running water. But that's what I love about this place. People just get on with it. They wash their clothes and their dishes in the streams and the rivers. They drink the rainwater. So, Walk and Talk 45. It's more of a sit and talk. Oh, I've been meaning to do this for a while, but I've had to write a little list to cover all of the points. There's so many. So, Walk and Talk. Hopefully this mic isn't playing up. I'll try and keep it as good as I can, stop it from swinging about. Walk and Talk 45. The Israel-Iran war. First of all, I want to start with... don't know what Bruce is doing. First of all, I want to start with my own personal relation with Iran and the West, which puts me in quite a unique position. I don't take sides because, as I've said, I believe the whole thing is orchestrated and planned to be and been long in the making. But in this video I will lay out some points to note, and one could say that I'm biased, but and perhaps I am in a way, but that would just be because of my unique position. I'm not one, as you know, who likes talking about my personal life or anything personal about myself, but in this case I'm going to have to. I'm half Persian and I'm half English. A quarter of that English side is pure Celt, the other quarter is the side that's related to Sir Thomas Percy, one of the head conspirators of the gunpowder plot. I served in the British military for 10 years, and in those 10 years I did 7 tours. Some residential, 2 residential tours, but some of those tours included 2 tours to Iraq, under the lie of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, which I'll never forget, and I will always hold the British establishment accountable for. There were war crimes committed that need to be addressed, and people like Tony Blair should be in jail. So I've been to Iran as an ex-British soldier who served in Iraq with a British passport. I went to Iran to visit my family for the very first time around 2014. My experiences entering Iran, going through their border checks and their migration officials was one of the most pleasant and beautiful experiences and hassle-free experiences I've ever had when crossing borders of another country. The worst experience I ever had crossing a border going into another country was the United States. I went there around late 2010, and in comparison, the Iran, crossing the borders of Iran to go into Iran was 10 out of 10 for service and the way that I was treated and the laughs and the jokes that they were making about football, and they asked me if I had any beer. They were very, very pleasant people to deal with. And when I crossed the border into the United States, I was fingerprinted, I was treated like a criminal, there were no laughs or jokes. Even the straps on my bag were broken by the migration officers rummaging through my equipment as though I was a terrorist. Now, I served, like I said, twice in Iraq, and at some times on those tours directly alongside the United States soldiers, and that's how you get treated when you go into America as a British national. I went into Iran as a British national with a military history, a British military background, and I had one of the most pleasurable experiences crossing the border that I've ever had. And I've travelled to about 40 countries to date. My experience in Iran, while in there, I was in Iran for 21 days, was one of the most amazingly beautiful experiences I had ever had in my life. And I always wished that I could return there to go and see some more of the sights. Unfortunately, I just spent most of my time there in the presence of my grandmother as she was elderly, and I wanted to spend as much time with her as I possibly could before she passed. And I'm thankful that I was granted that opportunity and time to do so. Yes, Iran has its problems, for sure, but every country has its problems, and we'll talk more on that as we continue. But I just thought I'd give you that little personal story and a little bit of personal information, so you can see that I am in a unique position and that I have something to say on the matter. But furthermore, even my name, ARRR, my name ARRR, it comes from the Farsi language, because my full name at birth was a name in Farsi. And my name in Farsi, translated to English, means rare illumination, as in spiritual illumination, which is another strange anomaly, because I only started to become awake when I was around 22, and it wasn't until when I was around 25, and it wasn't until I was 25 I actually found out the real meaning of my name. And it's funny how my life has turned out, that I would be, talking about the things that I talk about on a spiritual nature. So my name was fitting, and thanks to my family, they obviously knew what was going on. So I've got a list here that I want to get through. So let's talk about the Iranian nuclear sites. Well, the IAEA, the agency that inspects the nuclear sites of those countries which have signed up to it. Now, a country has to be signed up to it. Remember that, because Iran is signed up to the IAEA, and therefore has been completely open about its nuclear dealings. And the IAEA has approved the Iranian nuclear sites and has said that they are not trying to build a nuclear weapon. But we've heard this all before, haven't we? In Iraq, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and we've also heard the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, which was a lie. And one of the weapons inspectors who said that Iraq didn't have nuclear weapons was found dead in the street on Harrowdown Hill. I forget his name now. It's on the tip of my tongue. What was his name? Kelly, I believe. Dr. Kelly. Anyway, so Pakistan has not signed with the IAEA, and guess who hasn't? Guess who else hasn't signed with the IAEA? The State of Israel. And everybody knows that Israel has weapons. Everyone knows that Israel has nuclear weapons. Just give me a second. A bit of sweat has dripped onto the microphone. I want to make sure it's not inhibiting the mic. Sorry for that noise. It is what it is, people. We're in the middle of the jungle here. Alright, back to it. Israel has at least 100 nuclear weapons and is apparently has the capacity to build another 200. And they're not signed up to the IAEA, so nobody knows about the Israel nuclear weapons. People just know that, yeah, they have them, but they're allowed to have them, and nobody's allowed to inspect them. There's a big contrast there, isn't there? Iran is signed up to the IAEA, and they allow the inspectors to inspect their sites. Tulsi Gabbard, head of the CIA, put in there by Trump, has said that Iran is not looking to build nuclear weapons. Netanyahu has been telling people that Iran is months away from developing a nuclear weapon since 1992. And America has been saying that Iran is going to develop a nuclear weapon since the 1980s. So they've been building this story for a while, haven't they? This ghastly, horrible story for this time. Let's move on to the next point. Iran is not some ragtag country. It's not Iraq. Iraq, when it was invaded, had been struggling and losing its strength from all of the other conflicts that it has been put through. Iran is not some dusty, sandal-wearing country. I know, because I've been there. It is an advanced nation, and a few bombs are not going to prevent it from having the capacity to retaliate. You couldn't take America couldn't take Afghanistan, instead it left in shame. It couldn't, hasn't been able to take most of the countries it's been involved with. It's just a shame and a shambles. The continuous wars. War is not to be won or lost, it's to be sustained. So, Iran isn't just some dish-dash country full of people with wearing flip-flops and dish-dash. It's a highly evolved country with thousands of years of history. Iran was the first country to give the world the first monotheistic religion, Zoroastrianism. Some of the old structures built in Iran, like Persepolis, were structures of incredible ingenuity and architecture. It has a long history. Its people are fantastic poets. One of its poets, Ferdowsi, has written the largest epic poem ever written by one man. It took him 33 years. It's a fantastic poem. It speaks of the whole history of Iran and the previous kings. It's called the Shahnameh. Might be something you'd be interested in reading. It's a book that I hold dear because it's a phenomenon. Iran, apparently so, was the first country to develop glass. and alcohol, even though they're not allowed to consume alcohol, which I would say is a good thing. Because if you look at the West, you can't tell me that alcohol isn't at least responsible for most of the medical problems that people suffer, and also from all of the chaotic environments and social disorders brought about by alcohol, breakdown of the family, breakdown of communities. Again, I'll say, all of this was planned. It was all planned. And they had a list of countries: Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and then Iran. And it's funny, don't you think, that they only toppled Syria a few, well, just weeks ago, really, month or two ago, and now they're ready to go into Iran because the Syrian regime was toppled by the West, and that gives one less side to assist in Iran, as they plan to demolish Iran, right? See, now you can see how it was all planned, can't you? This didn't just come out of nowhere. The plan is, and it's been written about by people a long time ago, the letter that he said, I forget the letter, who it was to, Al Pike's letter, written, I think it was to Italy, saying that the Third World War will be brought about by Islam versus Zionism, and it will be so bad that they will crush the religions, and it will be able to usher in the New World Order. So here we go. That letter, they say, was a fake, but if it was a fake, how come it's all playing out just as was said in that letter? Another thing that they've done to show you that it was all planned is that they've moved all of the migrants from the Middle East and millions of young Muslim men into the Western nations, and much of which is in Europe and America. And they've obviously got enough people, a Muslim population of young fighting age men in the West now, that they can initiate their next step on the plan, which is to cause a stir with Iran, and that will bring the Zionism versus Islam bloodshed to the lands of the West. All by design now, you see. All by design. You've got people like President Trump and Netanyahu openly talking about assassinating the supreme leader of Iran. I mean, what planet are we living on here? What gives them the right that they could even say that can say that so brazenly openly in the first place? Not just talking about assassinating leaders of states, but openly talking about bombing nuclear facilities, as if they're talking about it over breakfast. Sadly, the American people have absolutely no idea what's coming. We'll get onto that a little bit in a moment. It's a nice little private beach down here. If you look at the messages or the transmissions that the Ayatollah, supreme leader of Iran, has put out, you'll see a vast difference between the way that Netanyahu and Trump speaks. You'll see the intelligence in the Ayatollah and his dignity and the way that he speaks is very. And I'm not siding with him. I'm not saying he doesn't have his problems and whatever. believe in freedom. That's why I'm here alone with Bruce. But just look at the contrast between Trump's transmissions and tweets, and then compare him with the supreme leader of Iran. You tell me who's got the high IQ and who is more respectful and who speaks with more dignity. Something you may not know about the Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran, he speaks 4 different languages and even understands English. Trump can't even speak English, barely. We've got a lot to get through, folks, so stay with me. Iran has control over a lot of the oil exports. If it shuts off the Persian Gulf and doesn't allow oil to leave, that's going to have a massive impact on everybody around the world. So there's one reason why people shouldn't be so willing to jump on the Bomb Iran train. Weapon capabilities. We don't know for sure exactly what the weapon capabilities are, but from what's been shown, Iran has been bombing Israel relentlessly, and it doesn't look like it's about to run out anytime soon. Whereas the same can't be said for Israel. Apparently Israel's surface-to-air defense missiles are going to be depleted in less than a week and a half. You see, it was all planned, and America is destined to join the war because they wouldn't have attacked Iran without the assistance or the green light from the Americans. Beautiful nature, isn't it? Iran's missiles, by all accounts, are not particularly accurate, maybe accurate within 500 meters of the target. Israel's weapons are very accurate, within 10 meters of the target. So when Israel is bombing civilians and civilian infrastructure in Iran, you know for a fact that that was on purpose, because their weapons are precise. But when Iran might hit some infrastructure, civilian infrastructure in Israel, we can't guarantee that it's because it was on purpose, because their weapons are not as precise. Take that into account. China and Russia. Well, at the moment, Russia's probably quite happy because the oil prices have gone up. Also, the war with Israel keeps the eyes off of the Ukraine and keeps the West's nose out of Russia's conflict with Ukraine. But I have no doubt that Russia and China will be providing armaments to Iran to allow it to protect itself, and that's what Iran has been doing, protecting itself. If America gets involved, then yeah, of course Russia and China will become more involved because they don't want to lose. Like Russia has lost an ally in Syria, I don't think Russia is prepared to lose its ally, being Iran. What Americans need to understand is that Iran does not want to be like America, full of drugs, drunks, criminals, sexual degenerates, pornography, and stuffed with antidepressants. Iran has its problems, I'm not saying that it doesn't. But people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Did they, Roo? Not at all, did they, Roo? Rooski? Hello, beautiful Roo. He's a wonderful Roo! Yeah, you tell me, America, what your democracy has done for your country. You don't even have a democracy. Neither does Europe. Most of your politicians are paedophiles. Known paedophiles, listed paedophiles. You've got Keir Starmer with his 3 Ukrainian rent boys. You've got Macron and Starmer and the German fellow, I forget his name, taking cocaine on the train from Ukraine. I rhymed that. Good rhyme, wasn't it? So no, the Iranian people don't want to be like America. All the people, the world looks at America and they probably think, you know what? None of us want to be like America. You're in a chaotic state of division. This is what it looks like. America and the West is what countries look like before they collapse, which has been designed. Okay. Never forget the false flags that have dragged America into wars in the past. If you're not too clued up on them, you should research them. I'll give you 4. Gulf of Tonkin, the Lusitania, Pearl Harbor, and 9/11. Once you've done your research on those, you can probably understand that one thing that always works every time to get the Americans involved in war will be another false flag event. So don't be surprised if something happens and Iran is blamed, something big, a big bomb or a biological attack of some description, that will be blamed on Iran. Now, from what I've heard, there are a load of maritime vessels, big maritime vessels, getting into position for striking Iran. So don't be surprised if maybe, as a false flag, Israel sinks one of those vessels and then blames Iran. If the USA gets involved with Iran, they have absolutely no idea what they're getting involved with, because you can probably pretty much guarantee that all of the American bases in the Middle East will be targets at that point, and we will be going into a full-fledged hot World War III. We're already in World War III. I've told you that a number of times, but it hasn't got hot yet. Like I said, the migration into the West has been on purpose. You know, all these different leaders, but just nobody can stop the boats. Nobody can stop them crossing the border. Oh, they've managed to stop them crossing the border all the years, but not the last 20 years. Oh no, just filling you up, ready for the civil war is about to break out. And to help with the something I wanted to point out regarding the Zionist Islam planned conflict, is they've already got their little stooges in place already, like your Zionist Tommy Robinson. They've got all your Islamic Muslims in the country as well. They've got your Stu Peters in America, again calling out Zionism and making the division and divide there. It's all a show, all a big show. America is not the superpower that they think they are. You're not. America is not what it was in the 90s or early thousands. America has been broken down from all of its unlawful conflicts. As I've said before, the Western politicians are a joke. Paedophiles. I wonder if, well, I don't wonder. Trump was very close to Epstein. So of course, Israel has that on him. If Trump doesn't, it's just a sad thing really when your politicians get bribed. But Trump would rather go into World War III than have a videotape of him having sex with little girls on Epstein's island being shown publicly. That's what a sack of sickness the man that Trump is. I already mentioned they broke Syria first. We can't talk about this subject without mentioning Gaza and the Palestinians. The Israeli atrocities on Palestinians is horrendous, disgusting and criminal, and yet nobody has been charged with the genocide that's occurring there. The media, by all accounts, is completely open in Iran. There's a lot of media coming out of Iran talking about the situation, talking about what the bombing and what's happening and how it's happening. 1 second. Sorry for that. Yeah, the media in Iran has been open about the bombings and about the situation. And in contrast, look at Israel. Apparently, Israel has forbidden media to take any footage or report on what's happening there. That might be because it's getting a good pacing and it doesn't want to lose face. Israel, like I said, has been saying that Iran has a nuke since Benjamin Netanyahu in particular has been saying that Iran has been trying to make a nuclear weapon. It's going to have a nuclear weapon in the next month since 1992. Don't believe me? Just look at all the things I'm saying. Don't just listen to what I'm saying. Don't take what I'm saying as gospel. Go and look at it for yourself, and you'll see that I'm not lying. That there is evidence to back up the things that I'm saying. We're almost there. We're nearly done. A couple more points. I looked at some of Trump's posts on social media and the comments. I read the comments, and 98% of the comments were just absolutely cringe. You know, like, oh, I trust you, President Trump. Oh, anything you say, President Trump. Oh, if you say that we should go to war, President Trump, then I'm with you, President Trump. And you've got other idiots saying, yeah, let's just bomb Iran now. Let's just stop Iran now. You're all going to get what's coming to you. All of you people are going to get what's coming to you, and you don't know what's coming. You have no idea what's coming. It just shows me. The comments that I read were absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic, cringe comments. And you're going to get what you deserve. Because you have absolutely no idea what's coming. Yeah, obviously, clearly you have no idea what's coming. You're just a silly individual. Those people making stupid comments like that. It really shames humanity when you read comments like that. It's like, Americans, have you learned nothing? Have you learned nothing? But for all those people that are commenting on some sense, talking about, they don't want more wars, this isn't what they voted for, you people, you people are the good ones. You people have got your heads screwed on. You people know what's happening. You people know what's coming. You people don't want what's coming. My last point, and a point of value and to note, remember, Iran has attacked nobody for hundreds of years in aggression. How many countries has America attacked in aggression? Yes, Iran has attacked in self-defense, but not in aggression. It's not attacked another country in aggression, only in self-defense. And Israel attacked Iran like a slippery little snake, pretending that they were going to have talks about it and Trump in on the talks and stuff, and then they just went and bombed their nuclear sites without any thought of the repercussions. And well, that's why there won't be any talks now, I doubt, and that's why the leaders of Iran are saying they don't want to talk with America, because America has been a slippery snake. And it isn't the first time that I've heard that. Russia has also said on a number of occasions how sneaky the Americans have been and untrustworthy. It's sad because all of this was by design, and it's the people at the bottom that are the pawns that get minced up in the meat grinders. It's the people that suffer. Always has been and always will be. This is something that should be prevented, but I don't think the people are going to be able to prevent what's coming. They always have things up their sleeve. They know exactly how to pull it off. They know exactly how to get people on side. They know exactly how to stir the hornet's nest. And something else that's just come to me, it isn't on the list, but I want to say this as well. For all of the pain, hardships and suffering that we're about to go through, for all of the crises, the wars that we're about to embark on, that are going to be horrendous in effect, I want you to remember that there's always going to be them stories of those without the war would never have found each other and fell in love. There's going to be remarkable stories, personal and private stories of exceptional heroism that come out of problems and conflicts like this. And never forget that. Never forget that beautiful things occur in human circles, in human civilization. And in fact, it's the very worst of human nature that brings out the best in us. You think of all them amazing stories that are going to be able to be written about. There's going to be children born that wouldn't otherwise have been born. There's going to be, like I say, acts of heroism that shine on what humans truly are. That would never have happened otherwise. That will be all. Be blessed, everyone. Thank you for your continued support. Be blessed. And may your dog or your dog go with you. Bruce Street, come and say goodbye to Ruth. I don't know what to do about Dorowski. Give a living rule. Dorowski! And beautiful rule is a wonderful rule!